What is poppin' YouTube? Back again with another video. Today we're doing my trade for targets and my trade away targets. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. So let's go. My first player that you should be trading for is Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is officially the truth. We've seen it 10.3 fantasy points per game the last 3 weeks. He's averaging 11.7 targets per game and 7 receptions per game, 62 yards per game. And I think it's just about to get better from here. I think it's absolutely insane what we're seeing from Zay Flowers, emerging as Antonio Brown. We were talking about him last week in the trade video. We're talking about him again this week. Go trade for Zay Flowers. You see the hype for Puka Nacua. Some of these guys, out of all the rookie wide receivers, Jordan Addison's really getting the most hype, but Zay Flowers should also be right there with these absolutely incredible performances and his target share as the Baltimore Ravens offense just continues to improve week after week. My second must-trade for target is going to be Nico Collins. We saw what CJ Stroud did. We've seen that CJ Stroud's been an incredibly accurate quarterback, one of the best rookie quarterbacks we've seen of the last 2 years. And Nico Collins right now is averaging 7 targets a game, 5 receptions, 86 yards, 13.2 fantasy points per game. Now we've seen Nico Collins kind of hovering, especially in rankings right now, somewhere around wide receiver 27, wide receiver 28. But I think as we've continued to see this consistency, as we see that the Houston Texans are actually kind of legit as an offense, and they got their first win this week, I don't think there's any reason that we should not be taking very much so into consideration for Nico Collins. So go see what it's going to take to go get Nico Collins, especially if you can get him as your flex play. I like Nico Collins as this season continues to go on week after week. Now, this third one's going to be this is a super buy low. This is a super buy low opportunity right now, and I believe Justin Fields is a super buy low opportunity. Now, there's 2 options for Justin Fields: your backup quarterback or on waivers. Now, do I feel confident starting Justin Fields in the next few weeks? No. But I think after we've seen what's happening, I mean, he's averaging 29.3 passing attempts per game, 58 completions, only 175 yards passing, and the rushing is really where he's not getting those rushing attempts like he was last season. So that's why he's only averaging 13.3 fantasy points per game. In your quarterback spot, that's not good. That's not elite at all. But let's say you have a backup quarterback. For someone that's maybe a little less mobile, that really hasn't been putting up great fantasy points week after week, that would be something interesting to do with Justin Fields, because I think at some point, I know Justin Fields, maybe his long-term answer isn't to be a Chicago Bear, but right now the Chicago Bears have no better option to be throwing out there on a week-to-week basis. So I think at some point Justin Fields will turn it around, and I think you should go try to buy low, because if you maybe have some questionable QB1 and you want that upside shot, I think Justin Fields could be valuable for you. And whoever does have Justin Fields, he's probably on waivers and or wants to get the heck out from Justin Fields. So go see what it's going to take to trade for Justin Fields. My next buy low opportunity, so my fourth trade target is going to be Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, the last 2 games have been pretty bad, but the first week in the first half, we saw that elite level upside from Calvin Ridley. So he's been averaging 8.7 targets per game, 4 receptions, 57 yards, and 9.6 fantasy points. We've seen the Jacksonville Jaguars offense just not be able to get off to the same standard that we were hoping for in that first half of week 1. So I'm looking at Calvin Ridley as someone that could potentially be my wide receiver 2 and or my flex play. Like if I have one of these, even if I had a rookie wide receiver like a Zay Flowers or even a Jordan Addison, I would be intrigued about sending that player off for Calvin Ridley, because we know what Calvin Ridley can become, and we know that elite level upside that Calvin Ridley does possess. My next trade target for us right now is going to be Ceedee Lamb. Now, this is going to be a little bit more expensive. Whoever drafted Ceedee Lamb is probably feeling so-so, but 12.2 fantasy points per game, 6.3 receptions a game, 8 targets. It hasn't been great. Dak Prescott hasn't been great, but this is another great buy low opportunity for Ceedee Lamb to go see what it's going to take to acquire him. If I can send anybody that I drafted maybe in the third round wide receiver, like maybe a T. Higgins, we're talking even lower than that, that would be someone that I would also be willing to take a shot on. And my last buy low opportunity trade target is going to be Jaylen Waddle. Jaylen Waddle didn't play this last week. A lot of people are probably feeling pretty good about the Dolphins' overall offense, but if you have Jaylen Waddle, it's been a little up and down this season. So I would go see what it's going to take to get Jaylen Waddle, because we know he's in an elite level offense. He might be in the best offense in the NFL currently, and so I want that guy on my team. I'd be willing to trade someone in the second round to go get me some Jaylen Waddle. So those are my buy low trade targets. So let's talk about some sell high players. My first one is going to be Alexander Mattison. Now, he didn't look amazing, but he also didn't look very bad this last week for the Minnesota Vikings, and he had a very good fantasy football day. But with Cam Akers now being added into this backfield, I imagine Cam Akers starts to get a lot more of the touches, and I still think Alexander Mattison is going to be a quality starting running back, but I think it was a little bit too late of a performance for Alexander Mattison, because he still has been super highly volume dependent on a week-to-week basis, and especially now if he's in more of a committee with Cam Akers, what are those splits going to be? Who's going to be getting the touchdowns? All sorts of great questions for my man Alexander Mattison. My second must-sell high player is going to be Courtland Sutton. While we saw the Dolphins absolutely dumping down on the Denver Broncos, Courtland Sutton had himself a nice day. he did have himself a nice day. And we've been saying, sneakily, people have been saying that Courtland Sutton has always been the alpha in the Denver Broncos offense. No, Jerry Jeudy had himself a good day as well. So I believe Jerry Jeudy is going to continue to get back to where we believe he's going to be, where at the end of last season, Jerry Jeudy was a top 5 wide receiver on points per game basis if you look at him from weeks 12 to the end of the season, whereas Courtland Sutton hasn't really shown that elite level upside. So if I had Courtland Sutton, I'd be looking to target some other wide receivers, get out, maybe look at some of these buy low candidates, where if I could flip Courtland Sutton in a piece and go get Jaylen Waddle, that would be something that I would be looking to do in an absolute heartbeat. So look to sell high on Courtland Sutton after this week's game. Another sell high candidate is going to be Adam Thielen. We know that Andy Dalton absolutely targeted Adam Thielen this last week. Now, that's not going to be happening on a week-to-week basis. Adam Thielen with Bryce Young, there's going to be a lot of struggles, up and downs. And as much as we saw CJ Stroud being an elite level passer and getting his wide receiver 1, his wide receiver 2 involved in Houston, Adam Thielen, even as the wide receiver 1, I don't feel great about with Bryce Young. So I would be willing to pair and sell Adam Thielen, maybe pair him with another wide receiver, get that upgrade. That'd be something that I would be looking to do this week. So those are all some players that I would be targeting, trying to trade away for week 4 fantasy football. Ask me any start sit question down below. Ask me any trade question down below. Happy to get to any of that once you're here in this community. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, would appreciate if you do so. Once you're here for the long haul, I answer all my comments. So once you're here, like I said, I'll be back again with a video tomorrow talking about my running back starts for week 4 fantasy football. If our goal is to get you that next win, if it's either your first win, your second win, your third win, or fourth win, that is our goal for this week. Appreciate you guys tuning in here to the channel. We also will be going live on Wednesday night, so make sure that you tune in for that, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.